Hello, and welcome to On the Fence. I'm Erik.
And I'm Vicky.
And in this show, we review and debate and talk about the durability, composition, details, and value to Annie statues.
Any statue?
Annie statues are like anime statues.
Ah, okay, yeah.
And in today's episode, we're going to go over Kotobukiya's Dark Phoenix Rebirth. Let's take a look at this statue. First and foremost. All right, so it's our first episode, but we're gonna do the best we can. So basically, this character, her name is Madeline Pryor. No, I'm just messing. This is Jean Grey.
Yeah.
So Jean Grey in her Phoenix outfit, and specifically like the evil one.
Oh, okay, because the green one is the regular one, right?
The green one's the regular one, and it turns red kind of when she goes through the motions in her like teenage rebellion phase. And when she just does whatever she wants, when she wants, with her crazy unlimited cosmic powers. And then she gets a white one even further down the series where it's like a god tier. This is a Kotobukiya statue from their Bishoujo line. Shoujo means pretty anime girl. So they've got a whole bunch of these, Marvel, DC, horror, like just a massive line.
Or do you want to talk about the artist, the name of the artist that designed it and the sculptor?
Oh yeah, okay, so let's see here. The artist that did this is Yamashita Shunya, and this illustrator does almost all the designs for the Bishoujo series in Kotobukiya's line. And it's sculpted by a person named Tsubame, who hasn't done as many, but I think that they're pretty good. Like, they've done a couple of them so far.
Yeah, from the difference in the drawing on the box and the actual statue, I can see some details that the sculptor, like the artist that sculpted it, put in that wasn't in the drawing, and I really enjoy them.
I'm on the fence about it. Oh, he said the name of the show! Oh my gosh! I actually really love the illustrator who did the initial anime art, well, manga-esque style artwork to it, and where the sculptor really made this feel, I find that it feels more American in design. Also, it's got a couple things where I think because Disney is the one that's in charge, with the Marvel being their license now, they can't do the same sort of things that they used to be able to do with this license. So, I mean, the illustrator of like Shunya's drawing has more over-sexualized parts, whereas this, they really toned it down a lot in comparison to his artwork. I think there's some elements about it that I actually prefer, and then others that I don't.
Well, she's still sexy, and it's still, like, feminine. It's just not over the top.
That's true.
And I kind of appreciate that. I love the little details he put in there that made it, like, kind of a real deal, even though it's really, like...
Stylized and...
Yeah. Fantasy. Well...
Alright, let's get started with her face.
Yeah, okay.
So what do you think about her face? I'm going to let you start off. I'll say my 2 cents after.
First, I would say I love the precision of the details. It's really nice. And the airbrush that's been done around her face is really clean. And she has nice yellowish eyes. She looks really determined and really intense. And I enjoy that. I like that quite a bit.
Yeah, I like the yellow eyes a lot. I like how her lips too, like the paint that they used isn't so pronounced. It doesn't like pop out like some anime statues I've gotten. Or there's some where they won't even color in the lips. They'll just put a little bit of a lighter like skin tone. I like the makeup too that they put around her eyes. I think that's really nice. It's a little darker, so it kind of gives her that like eviler anime effect.
Intense.
And yeah, it's true that the airbrushing on the skin is really nice too, and very subtle. This is something that older Kotobukiya models never had any of. Usually when you have like lower end statues, they don't put any on it, and they just say, oh, the lighting will do the shading, but really good anime ones will actually have mild airbrushing here and there to accentuate some of those parts and really make them pop. And you can actually see that a lot on her red uniform, but we'll get into that later. Let's talk about the hair.
Yeah, so that hair is beautiful. There's a lot of movement. I kind of would have wished it to be a bit more red. I don't know about you.
I definitely, yeah, for sure I would have preferred it to be redder. I mean, on the very top, it's got kind of like pink connotations, but it really looks like it's a pink mixed with browns.
Yeah.
And I just would have preferred, like, Jean Grey. There aren't that many redheads in the Marvel Universe, so Jean should have definitely had, like, more of a fiery red hair.
Yeah, I think they wanted to go for something more natural, but, like what's natural on this anyway?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
So, anyways. Well, that little Twinkie thing on the top, that's
the
often
anime antenna.
there. I'm not a fan. I know you like it.
I don't. It's not that I like it. It's that I'm impartial to it. Like,
Yeah,
it
okay.
doesn't bother me. It's like an aesthetic thing that I've never really cared about. Some artists love to put it on, some don't. I mean, when I do my own illustrations, I don't put them on
That's true.
most of my characters, unless I'm drawing fan art of something that exists that has it already. So it's just.
It doesn't bother me too much.
Yeah, it's not something that's.
I
ever
guess it's
really
because
affected
there's
me.
a wave in it. When it's just like a little C thing, I'm like, I don't know. I don't
Yeah.
know why it bothers me. But the airbrush, the color too on the hair is kind of nice.
Yeah, the airbrushing's really on point on the whole statue in general, and I do like the swirls and the curves and everything. Like, the motion, like you had said, is very well rendered here. All right, let's move on to the torso.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to start it on this time.
Do it.
All right. So the torso is really cool because you start to see a lot of different textures within her clothing. So the airbrushing has a lot of darker parts in it, where then it actually cuts with the lighter red to really give off the stretched fabric effect, and you can actually see as if it's like really shaped to her body, and not shaped in a way that it would look like it's painted on her skin, which is very, you know, a lot of Annie statues have that, and even older Kotobukiya ones, like the older version of Jean Grey that they had made a few years ago, really looked like it was painted on. And this one doesn't feel like that. She has the Phoenix logo on the front, which is a much brighter and stronger gold than the yellows that are on the rest of her costume, which is really cool. And she even has, like, stretched fabric on that yellow, which is really nice.
Yeah, the little lines on her breast that's
Yeah.
make it look.
And even the back of it, where you can see, like, she has, like, the stretched fabric over where her spine goes in on the back of, like, the lower back. It's just really, really well done.
And you can see that there's parts that are more like matte, and there's some that are more shiny, and that difference is really nice too. Like the difference between her skin and the fabric of the costume, and yep, that's really nice. I like all the little folds here and there, really cool.
Yeah, the sash is really well done too with all those folds, and I like the flow of the sash.
Yeah.
Of course, the sash is one of those things that have been changed up from the initial design, where it's a lot thinner on the initial illustration. On this one, they made it a lot wider, and they kind of almost made it like a skirt to cover her lower part of her body.
Yeah, I enjoy that. I think it's kind of cool. And yeah, the movement is really pretty. We didn't talk about the gloves and the hands, but there's actually a little detail here that we talked about earlier together, is that they decided to make the nails pop out of the design on the gloves, and we are not a super fan of that detail.
No, like, it's really... This is something that looks like it's painted on. You could legit grab a little piece of paint and paint those nails in, and it would actually look like it's her fingers. It's kind of off-putting. It's something that if you didn't even know it, we're sorry we ruined that for you.
Oh, better to know beforehand.
Well, from a distance, it's not noticeable.
No.
I'm going to say that right off the bat. When I
And
have
it
it up
doesn't
on a wall...
bother me too much. It's just a detail that looks a bit like special or like off a little bit, but it's not like it doesn't change the overall feeling of the statue. And I have to say something positive about those gloves is that the arms really look like they're getting in the glove. I like this section where you can feel like it's really like covering our arm. It's not just like a line that's like stripped and, you know.
Yeah, so
yeah.
it looks like during the fabrication, the parts were built separately and then put on and glued on. When you get this out of the box, she comes in two parts, basically the Phoenix and her, and you put her onto the Phoenix base. I have to just mention that even when you put her on the Phoenix base really well, the attachments of her feet into the Phoenix part, in the past few days that we've had it, she actually is slowly starting to come out of it. So that's kind of a bit of a worry. Every time they use transparent plastics, Kotobukiya, I've noticed that the quality is, I find that the plastic is more malleable. It almost like it just stretches,
over time
or it bends, or it warps.
Yeah, it warps.
Because it's not a strong enough plastic. I mean, this thing is made out of ABS and PVC, and I just feel like maybe they should have made something a little more solid, or had a metal pin when she goes into it.
Oh yeah, that's a good point. But it looks really cool, and we did put it over a light that was changing colors and flashing in the wings, and it was pretty badass.
Yeah, it's amazing. If you've got a base that's a light base, I think that's okay.
We can believe that.
If you put this over a base that's a light base, this statue is going to probably be one of the ones that pops over your whole collection. Even if you stand this statue up next to one that's of a higher tier or a higher quality,
Yeah.
just the fact that the whole Phoenix really glows is very impressive. It's really nice.
Okay, if we move on down to her legs, the same thing with her arms. I really like the fact that her legs look like they're getting in the boots that she's wearing. And I know that you're not a fan of the knees.
Yeah, I find the knees are really sharp. They're very, very well molded and
Like
well
she's
sculpted.
Like she's wearing tights.
Yeah, it would look like, I would almost say it looks like she's not wearing anything with some of the details in these knees of how it goes in, where it goes into her knee. And I like that a little less. But in truth, again, it's something that the more you look at it and when it's on a shelf, it doesn't really stick out too much and you don't notice it. It's not so bad.
I kind of like it.
You like a strong knee?
Yeah, because I feel like it can be like her boots are molded in that way, and it's kind of like an armor piece that's solid,
true.
covering.
I'm pretty sure that considering that her costume is made with cosmic powers and energy, that it would be perfectly molded to her.
There you go. And yeah, again, the folds on her ankles.
Yeah, it's really nice. The boots are really nice.
They're really
down
pretty.
at the bottom, especially. And the way it plugs in is really well done too. But again, I would have put a metal pin through there. And I also have to mention that for the base itself, so the glowing on the base is really cool when you put it up to a light. It has a nice gradient of a darker red going to a lighter, clearer orange at the top. However, the base itself is not particularly solid. You can see underneath it that there's kind of a divide in the plastic where it was molded together. The problem is that this plastic, like I said, is not the highest quality plastic, so it wobbles a little bit now. I actually have an older model of Captain Marvel that had sort of the same plastic as her base, and that thing can't even stand up anymore. It will always fall down, so I actually had to glue it to like a big transparent base. Kotobukiya actually makes them for their Megami device line of like model figures. I think it's like $6. So you can easily get that. Maybe drill a little hole and then put like a metal pin in it so that it sticks onto it, and then you won't be stuck with a problem.
And I would say her overall like pose, the fact that she's moving, she's really. Is it okay if I talk about this?
Yeah, go ahead.
The fact that
talk about what you want.
Yeah, the fact that she's looking like she's walking down that Phoenix of Fire is really cool. It looks like she's coming down, like she's kind of floating and coming down here to burn the place down with her face and her like pose and her attitude. It's really really cool.
I agree. And I want to touch on one last thing before we're done today. The value. So at current market price, if you had pre-ordered this gal, she costs you a 12,800 yen. That is very expensive for a Kotobukiya Bishujo statue. I mean, I have the first Rogue one back in the day when it was, oh, she's right here, and she's like $50. So, well, I'm from my country. Let's just say that when you ordered her from Japan, she was significantly cheaper. So obviously over the years, bit bigger, bit better quality, more paint apps, but let's just say that if you're able to get this for the MSRP, so like the price that she was being sold at originally from Japan, and your dollar isn't going to suffer too much from it, I'd say it's worth it. It's worth it if you're a huge X-Men fan. I personally think it's the nicest Jean Grey statue they've ever made. I've seen multiple Marvel Selects going through my store that I work at. I've seen so many different things, and over the years that I've never bought them, and I'm a huge Jean Grey fan, and when I saw this one, I had to have it because I love it, and I definitely would say that she's the priciest Kotobukiya statue I ever got, Is she worth that price? Well, to me, yes, because I love Jean Grey so much, and it was the only way I was going to get her. However, to somebody that just, let's say you collect this line, or let's say you're like, oh yeah, X-Men's kind of cool, I guess, I don't know if I would go so far into it. I mean, if I compare her to other statues over the years made by other companies, and even Kotobukiya themselves, at this same price point, or even like $5 or $6 more, Kotobukiya has statues that are literally double the size with double the detail, like really high-end statues.
We're gonna make other videos with those statues.
We will at one point, and I might show a few of her being like, let's show some of her like standing next to some of them right now. So basically what you can see here is a comparison between one of Kotobukiya's other models they had released back in 2018. I know there's a 2-year difference, but it's not enough for such a large gap in value. So where you have the Bahamut girl here, she cost 13,800 yen. That is 1,000 yen more than Jean Grey, which is kind of ridiculous considering the amount of details and the amount of extra plastic and paint applications that were put into this girl in comparison.
I guess they have to cover the rights too.
I think it's a licensing thing too.
It's funny, but there's a detail that we didn't talk about that I just thought of now. It's the little piece of satch that's like floating in the air here.
Oh, in the back.
It looks like it's touching the elbow, but it's actually not. It's just really close to it, but it's not touching the elbow.
Yeah, and
Just,
I'm personally
were
less
wondering.
of a fan of that. I feel like they had a lot of space here. They could have fit it through nicely. So, you know, we're giving this a lot of like positives and negative points. I mean, we're just talking here. So it's basically based off of everything that we've said. If you're still interested and you still think it's really cool, well, you get off that fence and you go get yourself a sweet Jean.
You go get. Okay. So I think that covers pretty much everything. And
Well, we'll see you next time. Take care,
Next time.
everybody. Bye.
thank you for watching.
Yeah, thanks so much. We really appreciate it. Actually, if you could take just a few seconds to hit that like button, it really actually goes a super long way. And if you could subscribe too, oh my gosh, it'd be super amazing. So if you could just like subscribe and hit that like button, hit it.